There are other names, of course, that have already been brought forward, yung anim. And medyo ano din ako dyan. Pero definitely, si Edelberto Leonardo has been connected to the, what's this? To the reward system. Kaya lang, sabi ko nga, wag muna nating tutukan kasi he resigned from the NAPOLCOM, apparently. Or he's no longer connected with NAPOLCOM. He used to be one of the commissioners. And so he's a private person. And when a warrant of arrest is issued against him, naku, hindi ko na alam kung saan siya hahanapin. At least, si Bato, okay lang sa akin manalo siya because his address is Senate Building, Pasay, gano'n.
Unless
So,
mag-backdoor din sila like Harry. 'Di ba si Harry
yeah.
nag-backdoor escape, 'di ba? Although parang alam ko wala yatang batas to criminalize escaping without going through the proper authority, parang something like that, no? Hindi.
Yeah, yung Alice Guo
Yeah, yeah,
and
yun nga eh, yung parang yung
Teves
backdoor
and
escape type, yeah.
so I don't know pero definitely Bato de la Rosa. Although parang nagkakamot na yata ng ulo si Bato kasi 'di ba Holy Week ngayon. Holy Week. Sabi niya, baka
Oh my God.
mahuli
Oh
ako.
my God. Basta kami hinintay namin yung next Senate President. To be honest, walang pag-asa sa akin itong.
Yeah, and
The guy
so
now is just trying to survive until Tito Soto or someone else takes over. Kasi I think it's almost certain Tito Soto will be the next Senate President. I
oh.
like
So
sobrang laki ng chance, yeah. Talking
and that's it.
about.
That's where the other kumbaga, factors will come into play. How the next administration or parang the latter part of the administration will handle the request to cooperate. Yung nakaraan na request for cooperation, I would agree to some extent na nagkagulo-gulo sila how to explain it. But they could just very well use the ICC, the Rome Statute itself, na parang this is what it directs us to do. And as a non-member state, uh, at sabi nila, choosy that you can choose to cooperate with Article 59, which is to bring a person to a national judicial authority and then to surrender the person. Sa totoo lang, in the ICC, binalikan ko yung mga arrest dati. Kapag basta nadala mo sa ICC, surrendered na. The issue of non-compliance with the Rome Statute, yung hindi din nila sa court, you can ask for compensation. That's the best I could offer to them. If
Kung
you're
kunyari
claiming that,
nabugbog si Digong on the way to the, yung mga ganun.
yeah, hindi
Kasuhan niya yung Philippine government.
pinakain.
Yeah, yeah.
Ano
Oh.
lang,
Yung
isang
pizza niya.
sandwich lang.
Yung pizza. Yung pizza ni Harry.
Oh, ni Bongo.
Ano ba
So
na?
yon,
Hindi
they
yun.
can assert that, yeah, I'm entitled to
Yun
compensation,
lang.
but I will argue that it is not enough to invalidate the arrest or invalidate the warrant or the case altogether na porque ganito yung nangyari sa kanya, eh, palalayain na lang ba? And I found it weird that there was this one lawyer who was tagging me in a post na parang the ICC is so flawed. I would agree. It's not perfect. It's so flawed. It's going after all these criminals, and they haven't arrested Putin, they haven't arrested Netanyahu, etc. And therefore, it has no jurisdiction to arrest Duterte. No. Just because all these other people have not been arrested doesn't mean that we have to let this one go. Na porque parang dapat fair na walang
Hindi ba
maaresto.
ito rin yung mga abogado na yung iba wala man lang website pero may mga I mean, like dami lumilitaw na biglang expert sa ICC parang who are these people? Pero I heard there was even the school of thought of invoking Trump's executive order on ICC as a like that was really weird to me. Like I thought I saw the weirdest which was it Belgica or something writing to Vladimir Putin for help
Oh,
to rescue. I mean, like you are gonna send Wagner Group to the detention. I mean, when I thought that was crazy enough, like invoking Trump for supposedly
yeah.
anti-American people and like anti-Western,
Actually,
that was weird. That was
dati pa yan. This was 2018, I think, that Trump first implemented this EO. Ang gusto niya, masanction yung mga ICC personnel. Yes, go, go, go. What happened was, hindi lang makapasok ng US because yung yung mga ICC personnel because the sanctions consist of one, yung visa. So, tatagalan ng visa, hindi pa papasukin. And two, property blockage. So, kung may property ka doon, edi hindi ka makakapag-transact. Eh, wala naman akong property doon. Hindi ko naman balak po bumisita doon anytime soon. So, medyo out. Of course, na-mention yung Pilipinas, yes, because we're an ally. Pero the sanctions regime is actually targeted against or because of yung Israeli parang investigation and yung sa warrants. Parang I see it more as propaganda or as bulalas. Diba? Okay, bawal kayong pumasok ng US, bawal kayong mag-transact ng property and all that. But it does not say, go out and arrest everybody who's cooperating with the ICC. It does not say that these lawyers who are cooperating with the ICC have to die or face charges in the US. Walang ganon. Kaya
It does
kailangan
not,
lang
yeah, and
maging klaro.
it does not say that Trump gives a hook about Duterte or some
No.
China, like, tin pot dictator. Like, they don't understand. Walang pake si Trump sa'yo. Like, sorry,
He hasn't said a word about Duterte.
wala silang pake. I mean, their defense minister was here, the secretary was here, Rubio will be here. They don't care about Duterte, period. Sorry, move on na kayo. You're
And
not
actually,
elected by Trump, yeah.
actually ito pa din. I've been looking at State Department reports. That's the best document that you would have, di ba? Kasi this is an official document. Sabihin na natin the president says, I love Duterte. But the State Department country reports since 2016 has been, kumbaga, flagging the human rights situation in the Philippines. Ano siya, medyo ominous yun na you have the US government saying, oh, mahirap dyan yung human rights sa Philippines, ha? May extrajudicial killings and so forth. So for them to have flagged this since then, since the very beginning, is more, for me, kumbaga, more weighty than Trump's statements.
Well, I mean, speaking of
Ayaw
Marco,
din ng war on drugs in a
and,
sense.
and speaking of Marco Rubio, this guy hates Duterte's guts, right? I mean,
Yeah.
he's a very good friend of Senator Trillanes, and they had a lot of conversations.
Oh.
Remember, Rubio, when he was a senator, he was pushing for sanctioning potentially even AFP. Di ba tinanggalan ng aid sa PNP, yung arms aid? So, Senator Trillanes talked to him, and basically the discussion is, Senator Trillanes gave him a 101 on the dynamics of civil-military relations. Ni-lecturean niya. So kaya kung titingnan mo, whenever Rubio talks about Philippines, he talks with a certain sense of familiarity and authority that surprises you for like you are US Secretary of State. Like anong pake mo sa domestic. Pero sobrang talagang invested siya sa Philippines because of those Duterte years. So actually, yari sila because the current leadership of the Department of State is very anti-Duterte, to put it mildly, right? And Rubio has made it clear, if you listen to his Senate hearing, sabi niya, kaya nga nangyari yung Duterte situation na yan, basically sinasabi na siguraduhin natin hindi mangyari ulit, is we have to help the Philippines, not only defense, strategic investments, ganyan. So kaya ang nuance nung kanyang take si Rubio. Kaya when Rubio was appointed, sabi ko, yari to, forget about State Department saying anything about Duterte or those people getting ICC. Now, let's go to the last part, which is really the most important part, Attorney Condi. The reason why, we had to kind of do all of this, hindi naman build up, but background is because I just felt many people are really interested to know where you're coming from, right? Why are you where you are? Even in technicalities is bakit assistant to counsel, not counsel. So having settled all of this issue, I really want to go to ito talaga yung pinakamahalaga sa akin. Meron ba talaga tayong false sympathy problem dito? Because ang dami kong naririnig ng kababayan natin, whether, it could be sales lady, it could be grab deliver. I mean, all people, even people from upper classes, for instance, sabi, kawawa naman, 80 years old na, ganyan. What I don't hear is, kawawa naman yung mga namatay, or actually pinatay, to be more technical about this. At kawawa naman yung mga yun, they will never have due process. The very thing Duterte is gonna enjoy now, not to mention his detention center. Ano tawag dyan? Hilton Hague bang tawag dyan? So, the thing, like, like on one hand, you are parang, okay, we are moving towards justice, but when you hear people sympathizing with the fallen mighty, who clearly engage in some problematic things, rather than with the fallen who never had the chance to explain their side, parang medyo moral, I won't say moral crisis, but I have some moral questions there, to be honest about it.
Well, one, I cannot question, kumbaga, yung saan nanggagaling yung sympathy nila. Ang mga Pilipino kasi talagang maawain. 'Di ba? Parang, kawawa naman. But syempre, kailangan may context to that. In terms of power relations, this person was, as I agree, was one of the mighty. I cannot even say that he's fallen in a sense. I mean, his daughter is vice president. His base is relatively intact, quote unquote, sabi
But you
nila.
said he will rot there basically for the rest of his.
Well, yeah.
So,
He will
yeah,
not
medyo
physically
fallen.
return to the Philippines, I think. But here's the thing, yung Filipino din, there's two other parang, ano ba daw, parang characteristics. One, we have short memories. Madali tayong makalimot na parang sinampal-sampal na nga tayo, tapos kinabukasan, talaga? Ano nangyari? And then second, ano tayo, ano to, madaling mapaniwalain na, lalo na sa takot, na parang, ganun ba? Ay, naku, nakakatakot yan. Kaya yung may pinost niya ako tungkol sa aswang. Di ba, takot tayo lahat sa aswang. Pero wala namang nakakita pa ng aswang. I don't know. Hello sa mga taga Sikihor, sorry. Pero wala pang nakakakita ng aswang
Phantom
talaga.
fears, phantom fears.
Yes, yung ganung takot talagang nagkakalat. So una, yung makakalimutin tayo, short memories. I mean, we've seen the Marcoses come back to power within less than a generation, di ba? Uh, by 1992, Imelda was running for president. So that was so weird for me na, di ba kaka-oust pa lang nila? You had ERAP ousted as president, then running for mayor of San Juan, was it? Or Manila? Manila. Forward ever, backward
And
never.
number two in the 2010 elections. People forget. If Pinoy did
Yeah.
not run, ERAP would have most likely won the
Oh my gosh.
I mean, by the way, shout out kay President ERAP, 88th birthday niya yata today. Nakita ko kay Senator JV Ejercito kanina. And then of course, yung si Hello Garci naman, our condolences to his family. Ang dami ng mga nangyari recently, no, na mga relevant sa mga
Oh, really?
Yeah, si Hello Garcia
Oh.
na ano na the other week lang. Actually,
Oh.
topic namin with Lord De Vera the other day dun sa isang show namin. No, I want to go back.
Sorry, si Hello Garci lang, he's part of my, so I teach mass media law. He's part of our discussions on freedom of information. At talagang buti na lang may clip pa ako noon. Sabi ko nga, may clip pa nung, hello ma'am? Yes po, 1 million, di ba ganon? So yeah, okay. Condolences to his family. But anyway, so short memories and ipasok ko lang nga yung tungkol doon sa yung takot. Ito yung pinost ko kasi yung red tagging actually is part of that.
Fear factor.
Yung fear factor, sasabihin sa'yo na, ano naman yan eh. Sometimes sasabihin, demonyo naman yan. O kaya, yun nga, sabi, ako, CPP-NPA daw ako. And so what? Sabi ko, anong connect dito sa war on drugs? There were people killed and buti na lang may nagsalita. And regardless of CPP-NPA man o ako o ano man, mali yung nangyari. Tapos laging iikot nila yung argument na, hindi kasi hindi mo in-oppose itong kabila. It's only on Twitter when you say, I like apples. And people say, no, you hate oranges? Parang, medyo...
What about them? Yeah, maghanap sila na, what about this? What about that?
Parang, wait, I'm focusing on this. And if you agree, actually yun yung sabi ko nga do we agree that Duterte during his time really encouraged the killings? Well, they cannot disagree na parang, he was joking. Whether he was joking or not, he encouraged the killing.
Yeah.
Did the killings happen? And so forth. So, sana ganun yung maging approach natin kaysa sa yung, may aswang yan. Nako.
But
dapat
I mean,
fact-based.
Okay, I completely, I mean, that was my argument with Duterte's 90 plus 7% approval rating, whatever. I said fear factor was always a factor, including when surveys were being conducted. I'm not saying Duterte didn't have 60-70% approval, but some of his numbers were, to be honest, there are some even new political science studies questioning how credible could surveys become in a climate of extreme fear, not to mention extreme need nung time ng pandemic na yung ayuda was basically a question of life or death, right? But there's one thing that I thought maybe you don't believe in this, but like sociologists like Walden Bello, for instance, Dr. Bello, who look at the case of Chile, for instance, right? Yung phenomenon ng mata pobre dun sa mga sections of middle class nila who opposed Allende and eventually supported the Pinochet coup. And then he basically ang naging arc of research niya throughout the past 40 years was looking at how meron tayong itong phenomena kung saan if the victims or political targets are from the lower rungs of the socioeconomic class, there's a tendency for the middle class or sections of the middle class not to show, I'm putting it very mildly, not to show the level of sympathy you would have expected from them. And to be honest, hindi lang trolls. I mean, all of us been trolled like crazy, death threats, whatever. But I've seen many people, middle class Filipinos, some of them graduate from our own universities, very eloquently defending Duterte's position. I've seen people even invoking, I don't know, the verses from the scripture about following Solomon, whatever, mga ganyan. May mga Old Testament na Leviticus pa, di ba? So these are not
Mhm.
trolls. These are not misled people. These are not lost flock. These are sections of the middle class and upper class who fervently believe in Duterte's brand of justice because they know it will never affect them. Because
Yeah.
99.9% of the EJK victims are not ABC, not even C, right? It's really
Yeah.
E and E, right? So what about that aspect? I mean, I politely put it, right? I could have used different words, but I'm putting in a very sociological, technical sense. Hindi ba kaya yun din ang problema na may asymmetry in sympathy? Okay, let's just call it na lang
Okay. Yeah.
asymmetrical sympathy or something like.
Well, to some extent, I would agree. But here's the thing: Duterte's support cuts through all the classes, di ba? Which is, for me, for a time, unexplainable. Pero yun yung na-realize ko.
But
You
highest
look at the
share was
prince.
ABC. But the highest share is ABC. Like maliit ang
Oh,
ABC as a share of voters, but among ABC, both
mataas talaga.
Uniteam and Digong, yeah, he has the highest following. Hindi lang ABC, NCR. So actually, your
Mm.
most educated and your most wealthy regions, actually most supporters of Sara until recently, I would say, until last year probably, and Duterte. So yun yung
Mhm.
phenomenon na people like Walden have been looking at. They have seen similar thing in Brazil, yung Bolsonaro base. I would say similar also in Modi's case, similar also. Like, meron ganun eh. It's like also yung mga mayayaman na Republicans who are very pro-Trump. Diba? Na
Yeah.
highly educated and all, yeah.
So the thing is, one, Machiavelli, di ba? The prince. So you make them love you or hate you or kung ano man. But also, there's this issue of othering, di ba? At this is also the sociological approach na if they're not human, if they are dehumanized, they're addicts, they're criminals, yan yung mga snatcher nyo, they're easy for the call. Ready for the calling. Kasi sino naman sila kung di salot sa lipunan. Ang pangit din kasi parang ang tingin natin may ibang kumbaga the other, hindi tao. And that's how they do ito nga yung sa red tagging. Sasabihin sa'yo, ano ka, or tagging essentially. Drug addict ka kaya hindi ka naman dapat mabuhay na. And that is, doon natin makikita yung double standards. Kasi may mga drug addict na mayaman. But we don't kill them.
Artista pa yung
And
iba.
what, yeah, and they're, or even relatives of people in power. So, gano'n, no? Na parang, ibig sabihin, yung othering is really targeted dun sa pinakamahihirap. I understand na parang kitang-kita natin yon na maraming mga bansa na ganun talaga yung approach. Yung pinaka-easy na target, yung perfect victims na yung sisisihin pa nila yung sarili nila na, ay oo nga, ako talaga yung may kasalanan kasi na-involve ako sa drugs or kasi ganito, ganyan. But then, ang hirap ding i-contextualize doon sa situation na pwede kasi sanang mag-isip yung thinking class, sabihin na natin na pwedeng mag-isip and could decide for others. And that's what we had with People Power 1, People Power 2. To some extent, these were middle class revolutions. And I just don't see why we're not seeing now how wrong it is for extrajudicial killings to happen. So, I'm still on the fence on this. Kung parang, is it because patayan ng mahirap? Pero pag nakawan, okay lang? Ano ba?
How was the
Kaya,
winners, right? So sabihin mo, mas safe kami kasi bumaba yung snatcher. Pero at the
yeah,
same time, tumaas ng homicide by like 300%, right? Like,
yeah,
in what universe is that a safer world?
yeah,
Unless
it's
you don't recognize, you dehumanize yung mga victims
the
of
other.
homicide, right? Or death.
Although, ito pala yung sa OFWs. I've heard this from someone and pinagtagpi-tagpi ko na rin that yes, OFWs, that is their parang entire point of supporting Duterte because law and order is an issue for them. They're so far away from their families. And if there's someone who could promise them that their families will be safe forever, talagang susuportahan nila yon. And so, tatay, may ganun pang selling factor. In the Philippines, we're also family-based, di ba? So, you've heard all these people na, or you're familiar with pare, erap, tol, ganyan. That's why they always call themselves that kasi you're part of the family.
But
So
just to
si
be clear about
tatay,
this, Christina, again, ako, interestingly, when I was there in Europe doing the tour for relevant to ICC, kasi kung magla-live ka doon, yung algorithm mo will target yung mga potential audience mo. So, biglang ang daming OFW na
oh,
nagko-comment. And guess what? Ang tawag ko sa kanya silent majority OFWs. Ang daming OFW nagsabi, either we voted for Duterte in the past pero nire-regret namin ngayon, namulat kami, or uy, hindi kami DDS, tomato ng nagrarally dyan, hindi sila representative
hindi.
sa amin. So basically, yung parang sinasabi ni General Torre na maingay lang na minority yan. Well organized, very passionately organized. I even grouped
Yeah.
some of them. People may have seen the video. They were attacking me and all, but so I never questioned the organization and all. Like no one could match them. I mean, you could see the other side, but I think it's also unfair to the rest of the OFW community who actually are not necessarily
Yeah.
deterred, especially na ang dami na, like you can go to my YouTube, there are thousands of comments yung mga OFW sa Italy, sa Netherlands, sa Germany. Nako, sir, uy, hindi kami hindi kami DDS, yung mga yan, nag-iingay sila, hindi naman sila yung nagsasalita for all of us. Lalo nung sinabi nila magbo-boycott na sila ng Philippines, hindi sila magdala ng remittances, may nagsabing ganun na DDS.
Mhm,
Pero
mhm.
di ba, well, well, ano, yun,
Kawawa. Ano
for
ba
yourself. No,
yung...
I mean, speak for yourself. Ano, dinadamay mo pa kami, di ba? And then when the Qatar situation happened, yung ibang FW, ang takot pa, sabi nila, baka mamaya lahat kaming Pinoy, titignan nilang, di ba? You get what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm,
sometimes I
yeah.
think it's also overread into this
Well, yeah, I would love
community.
to listen to them and to talk to them kasi but I'm looking at 2016 pa na parang why did the OFW support Duterte? Because he promised law and order. Malayo kami doon and I guess the people who are turning out now are those who until today have not quite grasped the concept or parang the truth na ang daming namatay kasing laki ng kalahati ng Araneta Coliseum. And if we look at ano pa lang yun sabi nga actually ito pa pala yung isang what's this argument na parang oh sabi si Duterte daw killed 30,000. No, it's just 7,000.
It's just,
If it makes it any better. So
or
anyway, itong
and
mga
technically speaking,
OFW,
crimes against humanity doesn't have a quantitative threshold, right? Literally, if you can start even with a few, like single digits, right? I think
yeah, in fact,
Esperanza had to
wag
point
naman
that out.
single.
No, I
I-double
mean,
naman
like, yeah,
natin.
yeah. But do you get what I'm saying? Like, even if it's 3,000,
Yeah,
1,000, even crimes against humanity is not a question of millions, right? I think
yeah.
some people don't understand. Yung quantum, yung threshold is not a question of 30 versus 7. Pero ang galing daw magbilang saan daw galing yung 30,000. Sabi nila, Attorney Conti, tanim biktima daw kayo. Akalain mo na, from tanim bala, attack against Pinoy, ngayon tanim
Pinaliktad.
tama naman sa inyo, laban sa inyo, mga defenders of victims of EJK. So, anong masabi niyo sa tanim biktima?
Ito siguro yung pagkakataon na ilinaw kung sino yung mga biktima. So una, hindi totoo yung tanim biktima. Hindi, ang hirap mag-imbento ng ito, ganito siya namatay, kailan, ganyan, ganyan. At hindi pwede na magkaroon ng tanim biktima kasi stringent ang processes. And you've mentioned that earlier. Stringent ang processes dun sa pagpapatunay na biktima kami and to participate in the ICC. Kailangan mo ng proof of victimhood and then proof of identity. And then pangalawa, imposible yung tanim biktima na parang in the concept that they imagine it to be na parang tanim EJK or impossible kasi um, pinagdi-distinguish pa nila yung EJK victim at saka yung victim. In the ICC, a victim is someone who has been harmed by probably the killing, pero later on maybe we'll see the killing, torture, rape, and other inhumane acts. Sa ngayon, murder pa lang. Di ba? Yun yung naging issue. Bakit yung warrant of arrest si Duterte only murder, excluding torture and rape? O di sige, we're holding him accountable for murder. But the victims of that murder, of that or one killing, you have indirect victims. Yung asawa na namatayan, biktima. Yung mga anak na nawalan ng breadwinner na magpapaaral, biktima. At lahat ng kabahay nila na nandoon nung nangyari yung insidente, posibleng maging biktima dahil dun sa psychological harm na created. Kaya yung iba dyan, yung isang argument kaya, bakit? Sino mga victims? Paano sila magte-testify? Paano sila magre-register? Sa ICC, kasi akala nila yung biktima, yung patay. Kaya kami parang, ang hirap mag-explain sa ayaw namang makinig at gusto lang na kunin yung mga tidbits, yung either maling nasabi mo or i-skew yung nasabi, ay, biktima daw. Hi. Kaya yung particular dun sa kaso na sinasabi niya si Aling Sheila, I'm going to put this back out. Si Aling Sheila, biktima ng aresto yung mga anak niya nung panahon ni Duterte. Might not have been killed during the time of Duterte, yung isang anak niya, yung nasa picture, ganyan. Pero grabe yung pambubuli nila. Pero it turns out was also a victim of one of a vigilante killing panahon ni Marcos. Kaya sabi namin, all the more, Duterte panagutin, Marcos singilin. It's always two-pronged. Hindi naman kami namimili.
Oh, hindi
Baka
naman
yung
nawala yung EJK. We had Carlos of Human Rights Watch on this show, and he said, wait, like we're talking as if this is past. This is still happening.
Yeah. And kaya lagi namin sinasabi yun, magkaano yan magkabilang panig yan. When you say Duterte panagutin, Marcos singilin. Kasi sino magpapanagot kay Duterte? And later on, sabi nila, pwede bang dalhin si Marcos sa ICC? O kayo talaga ayaw nyo dalhin siya sa ICC? If he commits something as grave as this, then we can take him to whichever court. But of course, ang hirap nung bawat kibot na lang, magkakasuhan tayo. Kailangan maging strategic tayo. Kaya yung sabi nga sa amin sa human rights litigation, ang uso ay strategic litigation. Yung you choose your battle, kumbaga. Choose the cases which would really benefit a lot. And for the Marcoses, during their era, ang naging tono yung mga civil cases. And then, si Attorney Carranza, si Attorney Ruben, helped in the PCGG, in the recovery of assets. Mas sabihin na natin medyo nauna yung civil aspect, yung pag-recover ng pera, pag-compensate dun sa mga victims, which I think moving forward dito sa kaso ni Duterte, we're doing it better na yung criminal aspect yung ina-address. Kailangan may mapatunayan na may kasalanan talaga. Beyond reasonable doubt. Kaya para sa akin, importante itong kaso na to. Para hindi lang dun sa parang kaso, no, importante ito to set the record straight. Dito, wala nang makakapag-deny na may namatay ba nung panahon ni Duterte? Wala naman eh. 7,000 lang, nasan yung mga pangalan? Wala. If the ICC clearly sets out the case, then we would all witness what really happened during the time of ICC lang sa totoo lang ang palagay ko makakapag-present yan. Of course, we've had the Quadcom, although sabi ko nga, well, we participated in it. We were very well aware of its frailties.
Parameters of
yes, na parang pag may pero pag may naligaw na or may naiba na ng direction, ito yung gusto kong i-pursue ngayon. Parang kami, bitin pa po, may tanong pa po kami, may issue pa kami. Wala. You're at the mercy. It's a legislative inquiry, and really the product is a report and possible legislation. And that legislation would be mooted by the with the closure of Congress na by June. So parang new Congress na naman. So yung natrabaho noon, mawawala rin. So yung ICC ang aming pag-asa ngayon na mapakita ano ba talaga yung nangyari nung panahon ni Duterte.
Last part, I mean, alam natin marami na ikinig sa atin, including, I won't be surprised if even Malacanang people and all, because I get the responses right away after interviews from people. So I know quite a wide range ang listeners natin. If you were to give an advice to the Malacanang, what should they do? Rejoin ICC right away? Form a truth commission? How to make sure na hindi ito yung whims of whatever, Quadcom, Tricom, Pentagon.com, whatever. Like you want to make sure, di ba, na meron institutionalized process kung saan first magkakaroon ng proper legal principle legitimization nung nangyari kay Digong and probably soon kay Bato, because I'm still not convinced with the explanations from the government. Although I'm happy that Secretary Remulla at least admitted talaga nagkaroon ng failure of the justice system in a comprehensive sabotage way.
Nagulat ako doon, parang
yeah.
Wow.
But thanks to Amy, my kabayan from here. She forced them to come up with good arguments, and I think that's a good way to start it, to admit first of all talaga nag-fail yung justice system natin. But if you were to give step 1, 2, 3, because ICC only covers the principles, But we know
Mhm.
this wouldn't happen. This wouldn't have happened without participation of mid-level people. What is the way forward? Reintegration, reconciliation, security sector reform. I'm basically giving the answer, but I want to hear
Yeah.
your side. Where you really, what do you think should be the one, two, three steps, especially after these elections, once all the drama of elections is over? Like, what should be the business of the day?
Well, I think one, stop the killing. So it's a policy issue. Um, hindi ko masabing drug policy issue. I think people are looking at the comprehensive dangerous drugs law now na parang, oh, we need to amend it. Not really. You need to change the values within the police system. There's a lot of things to change, both practice, policy, perceptions. Kailangan nilang linisin. They were on kind of the right track noon, although hindi rin nangyari. Nung, di ba sabi nila may cleansing, they asked all the generals to resign tapos or for courtesy resignations, and then binalik lang nila yung walang bahid ng drugs, but apparently some of those were involved in big drug operations or yung mga may sabit, napabalik pa rin. So linisin talaga nila yon in terms of ano to dun sa police. And so I would say that to some extent this would be SSR, yung security reforms.
Sector reform, yeah.
Yeah. But ang hirap mag-recommend because I'm not part of it. So baka maraming umalma na, wala namang kinalaman yan eh. But you know best. And you know how dirty or how bloody your hands are. So wala nang ano, dapat sana may, total, nag-ayuno na ba? Nitong Holy Week, yung mga nag-ayuno ngayong Holy Week,
Yeah, yeah.
sana tanggalin na yung isip na, hindi, kailangan namin protektahan ng kapwa namin. Second, and this would be part of policy, ito yung segue, really admit that what happened before, yung killings, is wrong. And until now, the killings that are happening ay mali. And therefore, address them through an investigation. There is just this nuance na the investigation, I mean, it could, di ba? It could allow the ICC to step back and say, oh, nag-investigate naman sa Philippines. There's a kind of investigation where the ICC will not look at this as something that mirrors their own operations or their own investigations.
It's a parallel operation.
Medyo parallel, but
yeah.
yeah, but I mean, there's a nuance to it. Medyo detailed na, pero kumbaga, look into the individual cases and then look into even the high-ranking officials. And even if you investigate, quote-unquote, Duterte, to some extent, it will not stave off the, the ICC investigation. Yeah. Kasi for example, if you investigate violations of protocol, o di ba? Hindi naman police si Duterte and did not violate protocol. So maybe
that would affect thousands of officers and all.
I know, kaya yun yung problem sa number one, yung policy and reforms talaga na kailangang baguhin. Sabi nga namin, ang mga police ba, hindi lang nila alam yung human rights or ayaw lang nilang tingnan or pansinin yung human rights. It also goes into practice eh. Kumbaga sa kanila, may nakasanayan eh. So, kahit na alam nila, di ba, mga bagong pulis, alam namin to, may human rights officer kami. Pero pag nakikita nila na, dapat ba ganun? Wala, susunod na lang sila. So, we need to change that mindset. Yung prosecution, it should come as part of parang a comprehensive analysis of bakit may mali. And there's also another aspect that I want, kumbaga, this government to focus on, parang bakit ba may drugs? Yun muna, bakit may drugs? And sino gumagamit ng drugs? We look at it always as a law and order problem, na parang, kasi yung mga, ayaw natin sa drugs kasi sila yung criminal kasi ganito, ganyan. Pero, una, may supply side issue, then second, may demand side issue. Laging demand side yung tinitira natin. Jail the pusher, save the user, ganyan. Yung save the user, aasa tayo sa, actually, umaasa tayo sa mga church groups. Bas-basa ng mga pare, ganun. Pero yung mga users sa atin are usually yung socio-economic issues ang reason nila. Ang user usually
just to
kailangang magising.
Sorry, Chris. I want you to spell that out because, isa sa mga kwento is that because some people have to work so hard, almost 20 hours a day, they have to have some bits of stimulants, kumbaga, just to
Yeah.
survive. I don't
Yeah.
want to give more details, but people have to realize some people are taking these things not because they want to have fun or go and kill and rape. They take it because their job is so hard that it's like 5
Mm-hmm.
a.m. to 1 a.m. and they have to just keep going because they're working in a
It's
very precariats. Basically, marami sa ating mga precariat na kababayan are sometimes forced. I mean, or yung mga kailangan mag-drive ng 20 hours, 25 hours. So, it's not from the evilness of their heart or for recreation.
it's
So,
not recreational.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's for desperate reasons because their job is just damn hard and pays so low because of the
Oo.
capitalist system we have.
And so that's a problem. Yung socio-economic aspect, yun yung kailangan ma-address. Unlike in other countries, ang solution nila ay, okay, we will set up clinic so that people, kasi yung problem nila, may mga namamatay because of yung injections. We'll set up clinic so that they can safely inject themselves. That's not an issue here in the Philippines. Ang mas issue natin, baka ayaw naman nilang
So
gumamit.
you don't like the Portugal system, something like that?
Yeah,
You
decriminalization.
don't like
No,
that
man.
model.
And then
Interesting.
also that's the approach in I think Canada and to be specific San Francisco. Yung merong clinics that will help you inject. Hindi hindi yun mag-work or hindi yun yung kailangan natin sa ngayon. Mas I think yung trabaho. And then second, meron namang mga gumagamit talaga and usually it's with the young people. To an extent, okay na ako dun sa yung parang may program na kakikita ko lang to yung uh, bawal maging high sa droga, maging high sa sports. So ganun,
Yes, to
give the
sports, no to
young people.
drugs. Yes, to
Yeah, yeah,
sports,
ganun.
no. Meron ganun. Welcome to like this city. Yes to sports, no to drugs.
Yeah, yeah,
Mga
ganun.
ganun,
So
yeah.
people are kind of in the right track na kailangan bantayan yung mga kabataan kasi baka mag-explore kasi parang isang aspect nung use yung mga kabataang walang magawa. Sabihin na natin. Pero yung sa kanila, hindi yung shabu, mas yung sa kanila yata yung ecstasy and kush.
Bake.
So may gano'n.
Bake.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's do bake. Yeah.
Hmm. Okay,
So
that's
yeah.
all to some of our friends. Hmm.
So yun, so i-address the issues dun sa use ng drugs doon sa situation natin ngayon. And on the other hand, yung supply. And if the supply comes from China,
China,
at kung si
yeah.
Michael Yang ay isa sa mga drug lords, I don't know what he's doing or what he was doing as the special economic advisor of the former
Na hindi
president.
Filipino citizen, which is like even
Uh-huh.
weirder. Like, parang yung,
Parang talagang pinilit. Apparently, may pinagtatakpan
grabe.
pala na ties to the drug trade. Kaya yun yung nakakainis pa. Kung ako dun sa mga supporter ni Duterte, parang dun ako madidisillusion na tapos mo sabihin sa akin, safe ako sa drugs, no to drugs, yung pala, kakampi mo, drug lord, na kumbaga, hindi lang yung, syempre, sabihin na natin, yung mga may mga pumapatay on the ground. Ilan ang napatay niya? Pero yung drug lord, libo-libo ang pwede mong ma-attribute na
Medyo
killings.
capitalist yung explanation. Kailangan daw ng centralization para magkaroon ng
Ah,
discipline of distribution. Parang medyo cartel argument. Parang medyo OPEC.
okay.
Parang they need an
Which,
OPEC of drugs. I've heard weird stuff from people defending Duterte's drug war. Even when I brought up that issue, that basically Senator Trillanes' theory on this, that this is really a merger uh,
yeah.
issue, right? Hindi, okay rin naman yan kasi actually, mas-centralize yan, may disiplina, yung distribution, like, oh my God, is there anything that will make people like you reconsider this issue, right? And of course, yung issue kasi niya, I was talking to someone now, yung kapatid niya, naging drug addict and sobrang na-trauma daw yung family nila. So sobrang, whatever you'll do, i-justify niya. But kaya napunta sa acquisition and mergers argument. But what about rejoining ICC and a kind of a
Oh,
true
yeah.
commission for the victims? How important?
Okay. That could come later. Marami. It's a whole array of transitional justice mechanisms. So, prosecution. Pero ako, for me, important yung security sector reforms. Kasi yun yung kailangan na ngayon Yun yung, kumbaga, kind of halfway between the immediate and the long term. The Truth Commission could come in later and it has to be approached in a proper manner. I remember Noy Noy tried to do this. Yung EO1 niya, naging problematic naging issue. Kaya we should approach this from a stakeholders point of view. Well, patawag lahat yan, paano natin gagawin. And we could have different types in one country, well, Colombia, parang sila, patawaran. So parang confessional, this is what I did, this is what
Truth and reconciliation.
witnessed, truth and reconciliation, and
Chile,
then
I think,
quits
at the
na.
same Argentina. Yeah.
Oh, quits na, okay na, walang prosecution. Do we want that or do we want prosecution? In other countries, parang you admit to something ganyan and then they will give you or you surrender a gun tapos in exchange ito ang sewing machine. Yung mga ganon na reintegration systems. So we need to understand and we need to feel the pulse of the stakeholders, not only of the
Okay. So what you're saying is that hindi na
victims.
Okay, so what you're saying is that wag
Madaliin.
itong maging prerogative ng administration mismo.
Yes.
For a moment, let's just forget it's a Marcos, like any administration for that
Yeah.
matter. Dahil napaka high stakes ito at napaka dapat stakeholders per se, civil society involved sa issue.
And even I cannot speak for the victims. I cannot say na, ganito dapat gawin natin. Kaya hindi ako nagdidictate ng how this kind of truth commission can go on. I think I've been also misquoted sort of or taken out of context kasi I do support conceptually a truth commission, but I do not support a quote-unquote capital national truth commission. Hindi pa. The mechanism of that, we need to discuss fully, pero we can set out all the possible scenarios kung paano. Pero clearly, we need to come forward kung ano ba talagang nangyari. Kasi madaming roots, maraming mahahagip dyan, including yung private armed groups. Di ba, ang tagal na nating private armies, ang tagal na nating issue yan. In fact, it's in the Constitution. Yung disbandment of PAGs, parang private armed groups and private armies, etc., nung mga politiko, lalo na sa probinsya, nagamit kasi eventually, nung nakita natin, di ba, kapag yung politiko ay na-involve sa drugs, yun na rin yung nagpapalakad or nagpapatakbo. So, baka mahagip din yun dun sa discussion. Kaya magandang we do that in the long run, in the long term, and ako nga, depoliticize this kind of activity in the same way na, or rather, sayang kasi yung Marcos yung Marcos compensation claims na later on dapat sana magkakaroon ng museum, dapat mapapublish yung mga affidavits ng mga victims, kaya sana that would have been a model. Pero apparently dahil Marcos yung presidente, nawala.
Yeah, it creates,
so yun yung ayaw ko na depende siya sa context.
Prerogative.
Prerogative, yeah. And then later on, I see na kailangan ng, ito yung medyo, vague na, for me even, yung paano yung, not really reintegration, yung other people, yung na-dehumanize natin, yung sabi natin, walang kwenta, salot sa lipunan, paano natin i-welcome back into society or paano natin tatanggapin ulit. Kasi kung gaano nga kaliit yung sabi ko nga, kung yung mga magnanakaw nga dati na ninakawan yung kaban ng bayan, na welcome back natin, bakit hindi yung kapwa Pilipino? And that kind of,
ayaw nga natin i-welcome back eh. Ayaw nga, paalisin na, papakulong na yung isa, yung Sandigan Bayan, nag-rule na doon. Sabi ka ni Jonathan Morales, hindi katulad ni Butiin, Senador, hindi ako convicted. I know you watched that hearing, yung hearing ni Bato about Polvoron. And then, nung si Jinggoy, sabi na, hindi katulad ng Butiin na senador, hindi ako convict. Oh my God, that was okay. So actually, thank you for this. Kasi, okay, what if I offer and compromise? Let's say, magkakaroon ng interim Quadcom style na Truth Commission just to build national consensus and understanding around the facts of the case. And then a much more long term. So you can, kasi ang worry ko dito is, if we're just gonna take the next, alam natin how NGO, civil society, we'll debate this for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Ang kasi is, sa impeachment is gonna come soon, right? The trial most likely. So, obviously, my interest yung iba dyan to expose this because it serves their political interest. So, I completely agree with you that we shouldn't leave it only to these people because they have their own political scores to settle. But ang point ko is that, couldn't that be an interim measure just to make sure ang ating bayan alam nila yung kwento ng mga biktima. Parang kumbaga ito yung version ng Quadcom na lumabas yung Miggy Mango, Mary Grace Piatos. In this case, it's actually the horrible toll of Duterte's drug war para lang magkaroon ng magkaliwanagan tayo dito sa katotohanan dito. But this will not be the final ultimate truth commission. The final
Yeah.
ultimate one. Parang, I'm thinking along those lines kasi kung iwanan natin ito sa debate lang, you know it better than me, Attorney Con. It will take 10 years before we agree. Argentinian
Yeah.
model, Chilean model, Colombian model. Mamaya, next thing you know, fiesta na, di ba? So, what I'm saying is, I think we have to have a sense of urgency, at the same time, kind of a long view of this is a generational problem to resolve. Ganon yung inisip ko. And then the second point I want to ask you, compensation issue. What about the compensation issue? Isn't Sara Duterte asking ICC to help them actually? Giving them the key to figure, oh, ang dami niyong palang pera. Wait lang, si Michael Yang na. I mean, you get what I'm saying? Like, eventually, like, kaya napaisip ko, why would Sara do that? Actually, baka mamaya they will regret their bank accounts being checked because Senator Trillanes is very excited to check their
I
bank.
know. So, well, one, could be, yeah, parang legislative inquiry. And to note, one of the articles of impeachment against Sara Duterte includes yung extrajudicial killings, her role. So that has to be fleshed
As the
out.
mayor of Davao. As the mayor
As
of
mayor of
Davao.
Davao, yes, as mayor of Davao. So for me, I'm interested in that as well kasi what I have is not sufficient kasi Davao yun eh. At kulang ang impormasyon ko dyan. The ICC could have some materials and hopefully dito sa sa impeachment mapakita yan. If there is ever a new Quadcom, parang ganon, well, I think we would still participate because the victims had kung nga, on a scale of 1 to 10, nandun sa 5. Nandun sa 5
Take
yung
5
ano
over
nila.
0 any day.
Yeah. Kasi gusto nila that they were able to talk. Kaya lang yun nga, ang ayaw din nila ay parang hindi naman kami yung pinapakinggan lang. Parang we were given 2 minutes out of all the time. Tapos parang yung iba, parang anong mga pinagagagawa? Ano pang mga in-explore? Although we understand na parang they were focused on identifying who were the perpetrators. Kaya lang, may missed chances, including yung sa Pinas kay Debold Sinas. Di ba? Si Manyanita person. Malapit na rin siya mag-birthday ulit, no? June.
I'm not sure it will be as manyanita. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not sure
Basta
he
yun
is
lang yung
well.
ano sa Pero si Debold bilang isa sa mga perpetrators din nung panahon ni Duterte. Could be, that's a possibility. Kaya lang yung danger nga na it could be politicized again. It just depends really on who will manage it. In the long run, ang importante talaga ay magsama-sama yung mga stakeholders. And hopefully, so we go now to compensation. Hopefully, merong maayos and even earlier than compensation dito sa ICC case, magkausap yung mga victims and the groups that are helping them to agree how to reach out to the victims. Kasi actually, yung victims, di nga nila alam na victims sila eh. Oo, namatay yung ano ko, yung asawa ko eh. Pero okay lang. Ano naman yun eh. I-break ko na naman talaga siya eh. Yung ganon. Kaya parang, hindi po, biktima po kayo. Ganun ba? So, yung ganung concept na yung mga biktima, hindi nga nila alam na biktima sila, kailangan ding pag-usapan at alalayan pa rin sila.
Because na-internalize nila in the human.
Yes, na-internalize sila yung stigma na
problema, yeah.
Kami naman po may problema eh. Ganun talaga eh. So, hopefully, this ICC case will give us the opportunity to really sit down na, okay, mag-usap-usap tayo. Because we also need to determine who will be part of the legal team for the victims. So, it will be a three-sided ring, ganun ba? So, prosecution, defense, and then the victims. The victims, technically, are not the second prosecution. Hindi naman kami mag-prove ng case. Kaya pa para dyan sa mga nagbinabatuhan kami lagi ng, kailangan mong pruwebahan to, Attorney Conti. No, si Karim Khan po ang kailangan magpruweba ng kung ano mang hinihingi nyo. So, the victims just have to present their parang views and concerns. At the end of this, reparations. Yan. And the reparations, sabi nga nung ilang judges sa ICC, cannot be measured according to what the accused can give. di zero yan sa ibang pagkakataon kasi indigent din yung akusado in some cases. Siguro naman hindi dito, no? Siguro sa panahon naman yan na may pension ba yung
Mukhang
president?
yayamanin lahat ng mga nasa listahan ng kutob ko eh. Medyo sarap buhay.
So anyway, doon sa approach na yon, how much can are people entitled? There's a trust fund for victims that is contributed to by states. Sana maraming contribute. Kaya lang para naman tayong kawawa na, hello po, mag-contribute kayo dun sa trust fund so that the Filipino people can avail of, kumaga, some form of reparations. But then here's the thing. In the ICC, not all the victims of Duterte will be qualified. Doon na lang sa period by 2019, 'di ba doon lang natatapos yung coverage ng case. But the killings happened from 2019 to 2022. Hindi naman 3 taon na walang Diyos, 6 na taon niya na walang Diyos. Kaya yung latter 3 years, yung mga namatay doon, could not qualify as victims of the case. And so that is why it's necessary that we have the Truth Commission, that we have prosecutions, etc., etc.
May blind spot
Because
ka, yeah, na 3 years.
there are victims, and even kung EJK nga lang yung itatakal ng ICC or murder, paano yung nakulong? That's 350,000 Filipinos and people. May iba pala nga pala na foreigners na kinulong dun sa war on drugs. They were also subject to dehumanization. They were also victims of Duterte. So
Torture, yung iba tinago dun sa ilalim ng sa
the
presinto.
secret jail, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're also entitled to compensation. And sana makita yon na hindi ang ICC ang end-all at be-all nito. Kailangan meron ding mangyari sa Pilipinas, which is precisely why the term complementarity, di ba pag complement, parang ano ba to? They complement each other, red and green.
Unit team, yeah.
Unity, ganyan. So, dapat there's two sides. May ginagawa yung ICC, may ginagawa din yung Pilipinas. Kaya, for the Marcos administration, don't be, kumbaga, sitting pretty dyan na, okay na, si Duterte nananagot na. No, hahabulin pa rin po namin kayo dahil may dapat pa rin kayong gawin.
Yeah, exactly. And I would say even politically, if they don't get this right in terms of the justification, the narratives, the Dutertes could turn this into their own favor, right? Unfortunately, that Paawa effect is working so far from the surveys I'm seeing. And yeah, it can get even worse. So kumbaga, may political incentive ang administration to get this legally and principally right. These are weird times, Attorney Conti, and that's why 2 hours of conversation went by as if nothing. Oh my God, 2 hours na tayo. Malapit na tayo mag-Joe Rogan level na 3 to 4 hours. I had a 3-4 hour discussion with some good friends and authors like sila Joseph Scalise. Back and forth, nagde-debate kami over Lenin, Trotsky. I mean, I have had crazy talks here, but thank you so much, Attorney Conti, for
malalim na yan.
sharing your time with us. And yeah, malalim yan. We don't want to go there. Like we don't want to go there. But I had to be honest, I have many other questions because I also actually a part of me is questioning like, wait, last time I checked, Russia is not part of ICC, Taliban is not, and yet they're facing. So bakit hindi sinama until you get what I'm saying?
India is
Ang
not
daming
part
layers Ang daming question na pwede ko erase. But let's just leave that for hopefully with good updates in the coming weeks. And Attorney Conti, obviously, I want hopefully if God willing another chance we want to meet in person. Ang inisip ko lang if would documentaries talking to the victims still make sense or takot pa rin mga tao?
Takot pa rin, especially with the
nila.
bashing, fresh wave of bashing ngayon. Yung sinasabi ko nga si Aling Sheila, siya yung ano, di ba, tanim EJT, ano, grabe yung ano sa kanya, pang-aapi. Sabi niya nga parang ayoko na lang palang magsalita. Sabi namin no. Buti na lang sabi niya, ang sinasabi, isang pinakamasakit sa kanya, binayaran siya. Kasi yung iba, truthful ganun. Yung binayaran siya, hindi talaga. So sabi ko nga, bakit, ano ba, Aling Sheila? Wala. She wants justice. Yun lang. Hustisya ang gusto ko. Walang bayad sa akin, walang ano. Kaya kami nga sabi, shucks, paano ba to? Buti na lang sa kaso niya, na-embolden siya nung bashing. Ang problema lang, may physical na threats. Kaya kung gusto niya lang magpapakalat-kalat siya dyan at sasabihin niya, hoy, gano'n. Kaya lang, para sa kanya, parang ibang tao dapat ang magsalita.
Yun nga because honestly, I was thinking, remember in our event sa Brussels, we watched a documentary, but that was not a Filipino-made doc. That was an American-made.
Yeah.
well, Filipino in directors, but it was for an American. I mean, the best documentary I've seen are really international, which tells you may pagkakulang. And both of us come from media world in the Philippines. Nagkulang talaga, to be honest. I'm not very convinced with the coverage of our, like, parang coverage lang natin is patay, patay, TV Patrol, News Cycle, but not really an in-depth humanization and also exposure of the horror of that. Nakikita ko lang
Oh,
yun sa international news.
yeah,
International documentary, sorry.
but you need to watch two movies, Maria and Aswang. So Maria by She Andes and Aswang by Alex Arumpak. These are two of the movies, Cinemalaya yata to eh.
Yeah.
Cinemalaya films na, which were done by actually journalists themselves or previous journalists, former journalists.
Na
I have
naging
to check.
TV.
Kasi ayaw na nilang mag-cover. Parang nag-cover sila, tapos parang, ayaw na namin. And then they turned around, parang ginamit na nila yung mga footage nila. I would agree na to some extent, yung local media talaga natin naging tactical. Diba? Eh, dyan lang naman tayo, kumbaga, nabubuhay eh. Sa mga evening news. Okay lang naman tayo. Okay, ganito. But
Ma-desensitize pa yung
some of
tao.
them,
Yeah.
oh yeah, but some of them have really tried. So we have these movies, pero I'm still looking for that parang bonggang documentary, no? Na parang which could show the side of kumbaga, from the Philippines, ano pa talagang nangyari. I think we could do with a bit more of analysis of analytical pieces. But can I mention this Channel 7? So GMA 7 has a few. They've hit the spot on some cases. Yung Reporter's Notebook. So their investigative
Yes, of course.
unit is kind of good, ah?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the first time I interviewed you was for my Stanford Truth show on GMA Network, right? Before ako
Ah,
Yeah, I remember the first time we talked before it was a show I had in GMA. Nung time na yan, parang hindi natin alam saan papuntang mundo, no? Those are scary days. This is pandemic times, 2021, I think I first interviewed you, Attorney Conti.
yeah,
Yeah,
oo.
thank you so much again, Attorney Conti, for really sharing your time. I just felt this was really the right time. Well, happy Easter sa ating mga kaibigan. Ako, you don't have to be a Catholic or religious person or anything like that. But for me, I mean, let's not forget that, Jesus Christ, after all, was also a kind of a revolutionary. He was against social injustice, among others, giving voice to the voiceless, among other things. Kaya sana, sabi ko, yung may ibang kaibigan natin sana dyan, they use this moment of contemplation, reflection to build some sort of compassion doon sa mga kababayan natin na feeling ko more than dehumanize, and especially in our kind of feudalistic society, and unfortunately my classism din, which is a reality we have to call out and deal with. So thank you so much, Attorney Conti, for this. As you can see, I have so many more questions for you, but let's leave that. Hopefully I want to set up sana in person if we can, maybe next month or so after elections, if we can have
Sure.
proper in-person discussion, and maybe not talk to the victims yet, or maybe if I'll talk to the victims, siguro i-blur ko
There
muna.
are a few who could speak up, I
Yeah,
guess.
if we
Let's
can
see.
arrange something like that, kasi I'm trying to. I mean, I'm not a documentary expert guy, but I just want to get the ball rolling na dapat i-normalize natin na itong mga tao na to, actually may boses sila. You just have to give them the platform. Just put the microphone next to them, that's all we need, right? And
Yeah.
siguro over time, ma-normalize ito at magkakaroon ng tapang ng loob, mga kaibigan natin, so we can move in the right direction. So, Attorney Conti, I'll be disturbing you and troubling you on that front, because I just feel nakakulang talaga tayo, but it's the beginning of a long journey. As the Chinese say, a first step in a journey of 1,000 miles, and this conversation, thank God, is, I think, part of that kind of journey. Maraming salamat, Attorney Conti. Happy Easter. Have a blessed moment, and keep in touch, and talk to you soon.
Yes, thank you. Ingat.
Is there anything you want to say to people, like watch out for
Hmm.
something, some development or anything, by the way, before we close, or something they need to read or watch para lang magets nila yung emotional context of our conversation, not only the intellectual context?
Well, one, if they want kung gusto magbabad sa Facebook, Rise Up for Life and for Rights has a Facebook page. And there's a few videos there where the victims talk about their cases. Kung ano talaga yung hinagpis nila, makikita nila doon. Short clips, 3 minutes each, gano'n. Nung re-release, ang daming mga trolls. Kaya sabi namin, baka napunta sa ibang algorithm. Hopefully when, kumbaga, the saner portion of Facebook view them, sana mapunta sa other side of the echo chamber or
Just lock the
whatever.
comment section. That's what I did since last month. I'm locking now my comment sections
We
minsan.
tried and we're
Yeah.
cleaning it a bit para hindi naman ganun kabastos. Sorry. So one, you can see that. There are other victims groups, but some of them, I just don't know their websites, but they have. And then, siguro dun sa mga may oras pa, the ICC website actually, or ICC page on the Philippines actually features some documents in Filipino. The warrant of arrest of Duterte is
And
in
vernacular.
Tagalog.
And vernacular. May sabon.
Vernacular, yeah. So, pwede nyo pong basahin kung medyo, ano na ba itong mga pinagsasasabi ng ICC? May Tagalog version, yung pong warrant of arrest, ano yung precisely, ano ang mga kaso laban kay Duterte, doon yung mababasa. Hinihintay namin yung iba pang documents mula sa ICC na in Filipino as well. Iniisip namin or inaasahan namin na magkaroon din ng Bisaya version. Kasi di ba nagkaroon nga ng mga announcement na rather ng call for translators. Kaya looking forward kami dyan. And then, of course, lastly, on a general note, sana po tingnan natin yung facts rather than emotions. Ay, kawawa naman yan, 80 years old. Kawawa naman ganito, ganyan-ganyan. Dapat sa Pilipinas. In the greater scheme of things, there are things na mas matimbang at mas hindi naman sa mas nakakaawa, no, pero mas dapat tutukan. At para po sa bahagi ng mga biktima ni Rodrigo Duterte, ang hirap namang sabihin na kami naman ang pansinin nyo, pero sana makita rin nung general population na bahagi nyo rin kami, ang gusto lang namin ay hustisya.
And where can people follow you? Because I can see you have quite a following, at least on my platforms, including on TikTok.
Oh,
Crazy, 200,000 views for our very low quality. I didn't even put your speaker. Ang ingay yung mga nasa likod natin. Remember after
ay, oo nga.
ingay nila. But still, many people listened enough. And of course,
Sorry na.
and the pre-lecture one, it's my fault. Actually, I should have put the lapel on you, but mabilisan lang eh. But I tremendous amount of interest. People showed very good comments. And surprisingly, on TikTok, where usually I'm not very active for reasons people can guess. Where can people follow you, Attorney Conti? And are you going to be more active on TikTok since it looks like you may have momentum there? Yeah.
Oh, I hope to. Kaya lang wala eh. Pero my socials are, so on Facebook, I'm Christina Conti. Also on Twitter, that's usually where I upload statements. TikTok, Christina Conti, yes, but my handle is Chronic Crisis. CHRONIK. Crisi, KRISSYS. Sabi nga, Crisi. Hindi ako pwedeng dumami kasi crisis na. So
marami
chronic
content.
crisis.
Chronic content kasi marami tayong crisis mo hindi matatapos sa mga crisis na. On that note, magpahinga na kayo. Maraming salamat sa lahat ng mga nanonood sa atin. We had at least on YouTube more than 1,000 live viewers. So that just tells you how much interest people have in this issue. And I'm sure in the future, in a better moment, we'll have even more interest. Again, we're not doing this for the sake of engagement. But someone said, if you're going to be trolled anyway, might as well use that engagement so that the others who are not trolls and just curious will have a slice of truth and exposure to the truth. Kaya ako, I welcome the trolling because it pushes up in the algorithm, and the next thing you know, actually reaching to countless Filipinos who have no idea about the issues or even idea about you and I, and now suddenly like, oh, interesting discussion, right? So salamat, Attorney Conti. I know.
Salamat din, Richard.
Embrace
Prof.
it.
Richard.
No. Associate and assistant lang naman. Thank you to Assistant to Counsel, ICC accredited attorney Maria Cristina Conti. God bless and talk to you soon.